Bum 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 ba-dum ba-dum bum bum
Oh,
bum
man,
bum bum.
Man,
Man, man, man, man, man, man. Bum 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 bum.
Go on, let's join in. Money, bum, bum, bum. Bash Bros. So yeah, obviously, Bash Bros does not condone the use of any drugs.
Okay. What is your relationship with Nathan like then? Because obviously you're sponsored by Hostile together, so you have to do a lot of photo shoots and things. So,
dude, I will tell you this right now, man. What you see on stage, that is our real relationship. Okay, we are as competitive and as headbutting as you can possibly guess. Obviously, guys obviously come saying, "Oh yeah, we're friends. We're really cool. We're really nice and all that." But I ain't even gonna lie, because if I said that shit, I said we'd be lying.
Are you serious or what? This is going off the recording.
Are you serious or what?
Dan, to be fair, Ellis was really good last week, to be fair.
I did watch it, actually. I was quite impressed.
Well. Very well.
I was quite impressed.
She even chimed in giving me shit.
I did.
Playing along with the gay banter, like.
I think that was the easy bit, though.
Yeah, but it was easy for her because she actually believed it, so it wasn't. She didn't have to play along with anything.
Yeah. That's true. She's quite gullible at times.
Yeah, we did notice.
But it's good for at home. Everyone does anal. It's normal.
You can't have it both ways. You're either not having it at all.
Yeah. No, it's fine if your friends come over. Oh, you can't have rules.
Can't have rules.
There he is.
Yo. Back once again with the Renegade Master.
What's up?
Yo.
How you doing, man?
HD.
All right, I'm in.
In HD this time.
Flip the phone.
Cue Johnny Reed to say flip the phone.
Flip the phone.
Flip it.
There we go.
Nice.
Oh, get it. We need that. We weren't getting the shoulders in.
Need the shoulders.
Get it up. There we go.
So
That's good.
I wanted to do something before we got into it.
Yeah.
I wanted to share something as proof that we were backing you.
Yeah.
Watch this now.
You've got a recording already, have you?
Oh, from our group on WhatsApp.
Careful.
Yeah, the boys.
Seriously? Was that during the show?
Yeah, this was after prejudging.
Oh, serious?
Yeah. We had you winning. I want to show proof of that because it's easy to say. Easy to say it.
Seriously, man. Thanks, man. Appreciate it, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's actually awesome, man.
Yeah, mate. It must have been fucking so close.
It felt like it. I mean, towards the end, we were going posing. I kept on thinking, man, can we just end it here? Don't just end it right now. Don't. And Steve is like, oh, guys, it's very close, man. We'll do another round. I'm thinking, goddamn. Towards that point, I could already feel the sweat coming along. So I'm like, yeah, okay. As soon as I looked down, I was like, shit, okay, this is going to be a problem. And then I was thinking, here, we're good. And then he was like, oh, one more round. I'm like, oh, fuck.
And it was like 12 o'clock by that time, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was
super late.
You're like tired, and you're like, man, okay. I know up to this point we're doing well. Just if we end it here, we're good. And then you're just thinking, man, we're not so, because we did the round before. I think it was the third round we did before, and I could tell that in terms of the back, and I felt like, okay, I'm starting to sweat now. And I'm looking over, Nathan is dry as a bone. I'm thinking, man, this motherfucker doesn't sweat. I'm like, okay, we end it here, we're good. Steve was like, okay, guys, very close. I'm thinking, okay, at this point, you're probably like, okay, thank you, come, all right, that's it, back in line. And it was like, oh, one more round. And I'm thinking, motherfucker.
It was good to watch.
Yeah.
It was good to watch. Although the stream was wank.
I know. Because even Italy, I think the stream was just because even when I went to the show, the prejudging for the amateurs, and as soon as I saw the stage and I saw the light, and I was like, oh, this is gonna work completely against us. I'm like, I can already see how this is looking, And you can already tell that when the stage is so dark and you're a black-skinned guy, you're like, yeah, half your details pretty much washed out. But you think, you know what, the judges are sitting up front, so, you know, that's what matters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, when the films and pictures came out, I was like, I wasn't even surprised at all. When people were saying about the stream was just not, they couldn't see anything. I was like, yeah, no surprise.
It was bad. I thought for such an event, but then I watched the Olympia stream, and that was shit as well.
Yeah, and they had the strobe light thing going on in the background. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Seriously, what
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but getting a stage set up for a show, it's not that complicated.
No,
You know, it doesn't require so much thinking, does it?
Well, the PCA live stream was really good.
Yeah.
Was really good. So it is possible. It's definitely possible.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple. We understand, obviously, you want to do the advertising, you want to make it a show thing, but when the guys are out posing, just keep it a nice plain background. Focus really on them. One point, you don't need to do all these special angles. Just point the camera on them and let them just do their thing. You don't need anything more than that. Well, doing all the, you know, the strobe and all this different thing in the background, and you know, not having having look like that's actually clear enough, it impedes it.
It just didn't show the condition. It was like for anyone. I looked at the live stream and I was like, "Fuck!"
Them guys all look off.
Fat, I look fat as fuck. I was like, "Shit!" And then I watched the pro stream and I was like, "Yeah, it's just the stream is." Somehow putting everyone 4 weeks back for some reason.
It really did, and you know, obviously, guys in the States, they're watching it. And they it looks like everybody, no one showed up in shape over there.
Yeah.
And you think to yourself, man, you know what? Come on, man, you guys don't, because people that were up front with a phone had better image than the stream did.
Yeah.
You know, you think, come on, man, this at this day and age, it's not the hardest thing to get right, is it? But
I think it's like, well, I know this is really boring, but I think it's like must be the internet connection, because they've got thousands of people walking around with the phones. They need to like pay for like a bigger bandwidth or something. I don't know. But the Olympia as well was the same. It was wank. And then because I was like, I was looking at Nick at the Olympia, and I was like, he looks off. And I saw the photos, and he was like dry as fuck.
Did you see that Gilco Productions did all those videos of everyone at the Olympia and his quality, and it shows how good they are.
You know, that's how it should be like when you watch the Olympia. The video should look like that. You know, I understand that. You know, you have a lot of people streaming and watching it live, but they've done this for years. Each year they've done this, so you sort of get an idea that you need a seriously bigger, you know, platform or anything else, a bigger freaking bandwidth or something to stream the show, because you know a lot of people tune into it. So it's not like it's the first time you're doing this and you're not sure about how many people are going to be viewing it or something like that. So after a while, you must think, okay, you know, we need a serious production value behind it. I mean, people are paying to watch it.
Yeah, so especially post-COVID, you'd think people have that fucking on lockdown. Everything was online.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, I mean, you hope that they'll learn by next year. But
all it does is it feeds. Do you know those old school bodybuilders who are insulting the new guys? The photos, the really shit quality photos, and go, yeah, look at how shit they are. And then when you get the HD stuff back, it's a different ballgame.
Yeah, taken on an SLR with like infinite quality.
on an old Motorola flip phone.
I mean, what is it like with the commentators they have for like the Arnold and the Olympia now, where they bring out these old school guys and they're just slagging guys off as they're on stage, man. Come on, man. Look, I get it. We get it. 90s back then, them guys, freaking quality. We get it. We all know. But while them guys are there fulfilling their dreams and doing something, the last thing you need to do is show a little bit of respect. Surely. You don't need to slag them off with, oh, yeah, back in my day, these guys don't look like they train hard enough. They don't look like back in my. You're like, come on, man, dude. Seriously, now is not the time. We didn't know when to get on the stage.
Arnold was like just. Was it the Arnold in America?
Yeah.
He was just saying everyone was shit.
Yeah.
It was so embarrassing. Fuck your freedoms. These guys are shit. It was so bad.
They have the time to chat after the show and prior to the show and everything. You can give all your opinions then, but whilst the guys are on stage, surely, you know, we all have our own personal opinion of whatever we think, but we know at that time is their time. You know, just, you know, if you can't say nothing, like, don't say anything at all. Just let them get on and open it out. He was all right. Okay, next guy. Don't dare bashing them away, telling them, oh, they don't train hard. They don't seem to have the right training formula. They train 5 hours a day. All this. Like, come on.
Welcome back to Bash Bros Podcast, episode 55. I took over the reins today because the last 3 weeks Geraint has messed up the intro every single
Only
time.
3
I
weeks.
have
Every dawn of time.
Every time.
The dawn of time.
Well, I'm actually quite ill at the moment, so I have an excuse.
Oh, there you go. Anyway, we're lucky enough to have the return of Samson. Don't even need to say Samson Dauda anymore. We know who Samson is if you say Samson. And that's testament to the effort that he's been putting in and the name he's making for himself. I'll do the usual routine. Everyone knows Samson, but I'll do it anyway because that's what we do. Head over, give him a follow. He's got plenty of followers and stuff anyway, but he could always do a couple of more. Head over, look at all his new stuff, his new content. If you're familiar with the bodybuilding scene, you'll have seen the transformation that Samson's put in. So I'll stop blowing that trumpet too much. So since we've had you on last, Samson,
yes.
give us a rundown, brother, because we've had the history of where you've come from. But
what did you guys? Was it last year you had me on last, or the year before? I can't remember. Was it before the Corona thing, or was that during?
It was
during, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, was it during? Oh man. So yes, obviously we had the whole Korea and going to isolation and stuff, and then we came back and we did the Spain show. And, we sort of like know that obviously conditioning was the main thing. So we sort of figured out my conditioning then of how much I do really need to suffer to get in shape. But then in that second half, we didn't have nowhere near enough muscle. So coming off that year, basically, it wasn't, ending 2020 was not, all in all, it felt like a success. But for me, it felt like a big disappointment. It felt like, the physique I was sort of trying to bring to stage, I didn't accomplish that. Didn't get the result I want. So towards the end of the year, I felt really crap. I really did feel like, I don't know if I can carry on going like this. It's one thing when, you're working full time and using your job to sort of finance bodybuilding and you didn't feel like you're getting the results you want. You're watching your other partner, so financing her, going to her job and helping you finance your dream. And then after a show, you sort of look at it and go, man, you know what, I don't know how many times I can come back with a disappointment and say to her, yeah, maybe next year or whatever. She's always been supportive, trying to tell me just keep going anyway. But as a man, how it feels when you're trying to work for something but it's not working out, and you still, you're feeling that disappointment. So I really didn't feel great at the end of 2020. So I was gonna say, you know what, I'm just gonna call it quits and give it a break for a long time and see what I feel like later. So obviously Hostile stepped in at that point, and speaking to Fuad, he basically said, look, Sam, honestly, I think you do have something, but I really do think that maybe it's time you sort of get a coach and get somebody to work with you. So we all know the industry. There's a lot of coaches. There's a lot of people. And it's always a question, okay, who best suits me? Who best will be able to bring out my potential? So at the time, Fuad said, look, if I was going to recommend somebody for you, I'll say, go to John Meadows, because he's worked with him before. He knows his approach, and he thinks that his character and everything will really suit me. So I sort of kind of thought about it and go, you know what, hell, I got nothing to lose at this point. Why not? So Fuad then obviously got us in contact with each other and say, look, can you help this guy out? So John, spoke to me straight up, and he just said to me that, look, honestly, he looked at my physique and said, honestly, I think I can get you to the next level because it's all there. He just needs a little bit of refining, a little bit more working your back and stuff like that. But within the ending of this year, the next time you compete, we can really bring a package that will really shock a lot of people. So me, at the time, I really was not, it feels like I've heard it before. So I was kind of like, you know what, yeah, sure, I'll listen. But, I didn't have that confidence in myself, basically. So John sort of slowly started working through me. I remember we were still in lockdown at the beginning of 2021. So, found a gym that was local to me that was allowing me to train. We kind of started just going through the off season through, January, February, March. And immediately we started working together. John basically introduced a new approach to me. He didn't change what we're doing currently that much, but what he did is he basically adjusted my diet, adjusted my training style, adjusted, my chems and everything else. How do I use it to best suits me? And immediately did that, we just started growing, like very fast, just started growing. We got, I think the first month we went up to 300 pounds immediately. And it was like very comfortable as well. I didn't feel like I wasn't holding water, I wasn't holding loads of body fat that way. And we just basically pushed the boundary from there. And John was just a massive support, man. He was like talking to me and telling me, look, yes, this is it. This is what I'm talking about. You're doing it well. You're doing everything else. And with time, it just slowly, I started believing in his approach and believing in him and thinking, this guy really does wants to see you do well. He really wants, he's really on your side with this. And, it's one thing when, as we all know, it's one thing if the coach is telling you, oh, man, you're looking great, you're going to kill it, you're going to kill it. You feel like, yeah, as much as you believe it, you still think like, oh, they're just saying that. They're coaching you, they're just saying that. But with John he was going on other shows in the US and other podcasts, and he was saying, look, I got this guy coming up from the UK. He's something serious. Wait till you see him. Wait to see him. And, people were contacting me and go, man, John won't stop talking about you and talking about what you're bringing. And I'm thinking, man, this guy genuinely believes in what we're doing. So I started thinking, okay, you know what? I don't have much belief in myself at this current time, but seeing his belief in me makes me want to believe in him. So I'm just going to do it for him, because he has that hope and he has put that part of me. So do it for him, make him proud, make him know that the time he's putting, which is not wasted, you dedicated, your time to him. So I basically latched on to that and we just started working and we're going through it, went through the off season. It was absolutely amazing. Came off the off season and he was like, okay, right, what show do you want to do? So we looked at the calendar and it was like, okay, we wanted to show later in the year. And so we were kind of looking at Tampa, but Tampa was happening. I think Tampa was happening at early August. And for us, it was way too early. We still felt like we needed more time to progress. So John basically said, okay, why don't we do the post-Olympia shows instead? So we basically said, okay, right, which one we're going to do? And then obviously the whole idea about Arnold coming to the UK came up. And at that point, I was just kind of like, yeah, perfect. Just what we need. So we kind of set up for that. We started prepping. And we started going through it. And, John, he's making I'm talking about little changes from 16 weeks out. And I was looking and going, man, this doesn't even feel like prep. But yet we were getting leaner just off tiny little things he would do. And we talk about he would just cut my food by a little, take 10 grams off here, take 5 grams off here, and we'll get leaner from it. And I'm thinking, wow, if this prep is really like this is something. So we kind of went through, and every week we'll speak, and they'll give me a plan for the next following week, and he'll tell me, man, yeah, you're looking in shape, your back's improved, this is improved, you're looking a lot better, And then we got to 8 weeks out. And I remember speaking to him the Friday, 8 weeks out, and he kind of giving me the plan for the following week and saying, you know what, you're going to shock a lot of people this year, man. Just get ready. This is going to be epic, and we're really going to really impress a lot of people because you got the physique that people are looking to see these days. So I'm like, yeah, man, John, and he got me excited. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I can't wait, man. Let's keep working. So I remember that weekend, had the Saturday as normal. Sunday, we had the normal Sunday. And Sunday night, I was out walking my dog. And basically, I got a text message from one of my friends. And he said, oh, man, dude, it's my condolences. And I'm like, what do you mean, your condolences? Like, what's going on? So I'm there flipping on the news and trying to find out what's going on. What's he talking about? And then I open on Instagram, and the first picture I see is a picture of John posted up saying, he's passed. And at that point, my heart just literally fell out of my chest, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, nah, it has to be bullshit. It has to be a hoax. I only just spoke to him yesterday. It's not possible. Come on, man, it's bullshit. So at this point, you're in complete panic mode. You're like, okay, who do I need to call? Where do I need to confirm this? So you then find out, obviously, as the evening went on, that it was serious. It was really true. And I mean, I can't even explain. Anybody that's ever lost someone, what it's like when you get that news. There's no feeling in the world. There's nothing, there's nothing that can explain that feeling. It literally feels like someone just literally just ripped the ground from under you. You're in disbelief and you're just in shock. So, that was the way I felt. And at that point, I just broke down. I'm like, nothing's worth it. Nothing's worth doing. This is exactly, it felt like life is just exactly that. Just when you think you're getting ahead, it basically kicks you in the ass and fucks you over once again. And it felt horrible. So I remember thinking during that whole period, just thinking, you know what, that's it, we're done. Okay, I'm not carrying this on. We're done. I'm not doing this anymore. And obviously then the messages are pouring in, and people saying, look, what do you want to do? Truly, we don't think you should pull out. We don't think you should stop. John wouldn't want you to stop. That this is what you guys been working on all year. You guys, John is behind you. That he wanted you to carry on doing the show. So took a few days, and then started thinking about it, going, you know what, they're right. I know what they mean. They really want me, you know, he would really want me to get on stage. He would really want me to carry on what he's doing. But at this point, you know, after you lose somebody that has such an impact in your life of what you're doing, it's very hard for you to then find somebody to replace that. You know, it's very hard to say, oh, I'm just going to carry on like normal. It's not that easy. It really does hit you, and you just feel like there's a void that's been taken up, and you don't want anybody to just fill that void. You really, you know, you almost feel like you're protecting that void, you know, because you know it's for somebody special to you. So we kind of sat down and we thought about it and said, okay, right, we know we need help. We know we need somebody to step in and sort of carry this on, but who can we reach out to? Who can we talk to? You know, so we sort of, you know, John has always told me that he obviously has a relationship with Milos, you know, Sarcev, and they've spoken about me in the past and everything else, and he has sort of same approach. So we thought, okay, you know what about if we reach out to Milos and sort of just, you know, speak to him. So I basically messaged Milos the next day and just said, look, I don't know if you know me, you know, I'm working with John. You know, we're 8 weeks out from the Arnold Classic UK, and obviously with everything that's happened, we're feeling a bit lost right now. Is there anything you can do to help? You know, really would appreciate it. And right away, he replied to me saying, of course, you know, count me in 100%. Let's do this for John. Let's get it going. So I'm like, okay, you know, so immediately he said, send me your diet, send me your program. Let me see what you're looking like. And he just got on it, and he just literally just picked up where he left off, started working through it. And we started dieting and carried on everything going. And then, you know, Milos has a way of, he teaches you a lot, but he punishes the crap out of you while he's doing it at the same time. So where I was thinking with John, I was thinking, actually, this diet is not so bad. You know, I can do this. Milos is like, oh, you know what, you're looking good, that's really good. I think, yeah, you're going to be ready, but let's just be safe. Let's just punish you a little bit, you know, cut your food a little bit, take it, you know. So he starts doing drastic cuts. I mean, drastic cuts to my diet that no bodybuilder in the right mind would think this is sane. You know, things like having only 3 eggs in the morning for breakfast after doing an hour's cardio, you know, having just about 80 grams of sweet potato, which is like a forkful basically, you know, for your second meal. And you're looking at it going, man, I might as well not be eating, because this is no difference between not having any food at all. Because it's like, you just teasing your stomach while you're that hungry. You throw a little bit of it and he goes, where's the rest, you know? So, you know, he really kind of pushed that envelope. And what we kind of realized, especially with him and his approach, we kind of realized that my body could tolerate a lot more than we ever thought we could. Because you always have this fear of, okay, with what you're doing, you're going to lose a lot of muscle. But I remember Miller saying to me, trust me, whatever I let you do right now, just trust me, you will not lose muscle. I know it's a fear for bodybuilders, but you will not lose muscle. You will get in shape. And we were kind of going along, and basically what he said just basically came to pass. And we were looking at it every week, and we're checking it, and your body was just changing drastically from the day to day. It was like drastic changes. And then by the time we come close to the show, we kind of looking at it and going, wow, you know what, this is what we're talking about. This is the package we always wanted to bring to the stage. This is what we always sort of hoped for, you know. So obviously we went to Birmingham, and you know, we did the Arnold Classic, and basically that was a package that came up on stage, you know, a joint force of those two great men that really stepped into my life and transformed it as a bodybuilder completely to what it was. And you know, I can't thank them enough, truly.
That routine you did, honestly, pal, yeah. I'm sure plenty of people have said it too, but we were all sat here and Jack was like, I'm actually crying.
Yeah, because I was there at the time, and like watching you do it, like, yeah, it was probably one of the best routines I've ever seen. So, and to see it live as well, and seeing how much it meant to you whilst you were doing it. And what was even more impressive is that you managed to deliver the routine without, like, I knew on occasions you were close to sort of breaking down.
Oh man, seriously.
But the fact that you didn't, that was probably the most impressive part of all of it. That you never like slipped up at all, and yeah, it was outstanding.
Man, because you know, we were thinking about, like, obviously the Arnold, we sort of know that routine is sort of a high thing on the Arnold. You know, everybody sort of looks towards the routine and what you're gonna do when you come to the Arnold Classic. So we kind of think, okay, what posing should we do? I think we're coming about 6 weeks out from the show, and we're kind of think, okay, we need to do a routine. Think about a routine. And I say, like, we're kind of like trying to come through ideas, and you know, my missus was like, okay, what posing style, what posing do you want to do? And then I think one point we were just walking, and it just kind of hit me. And I remember, like, the week after John passed away, somebody messaged me on Instagram saying, look, oh yeah, there's this clip John was talking about you in his podcast on the Friday, the Friday before. And he was talking about you, here's the link, go into about 20 something minutes in, and listen to it. So I remember listening to it at that time, and I just broke down crying. And he's on the podcast and he's saying about, I got this guy, he's 8 weeks out, Samson, he's doing the Arnold Classic UK. Wait till you see him, man. He's a beast, man. He's gonna shock the world, all that stuff. And I remember listening to that and thinking, literally, that was a Friday before it all happened. That was literally that moment. And, and he just broke my heart so much. And it made me really just this pain in it that I got from that point. And I'm thinking, when we started thinking about routine, that popped into my head. And I was thinking, actually, I have an idea. I know what I want to do. I want to do something dedicated to John. And I really want the people to see and feel what he meant to me as a person, what he did for me this year, and the hope that he brought back into my life this year when I was truly in the point where I was like, I didn't want to do bodybuilding anymore, So I was like, you know what? I'm going to really bring that to the stage. I want to really bring that whole aura of him to the stage and remind people of what he meant. So I basically cropped the speech out of what he had from that point, where he's saying, oh, Sam, it's 8 weeks from the show. Then I basically picked up a song and I basically spliced it all together. And I remember listening to that track when we did it, because I remember he literally just brainstorming, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it right now. I'll put the track together. And I remember listening to it, and literally every time I listened, I just broke down crying. I'm like, man, I can't. You're making this track, but I can't listen to it, because every time I listen to it, I just cry. So I had that song weeks in advance, and I was like trying to practice to it, and I just couldn't pose to it. Every time we tried to post it was just too emotional, and just couldn't pose to it. So we got about I think it was about 2 weeks from the show. And this was like, look, you gotta do a routine. You have to do a routine. You got the song, but you have to do a routine to it. And I'm thinking, okay, come on, you gotta put it together. And I just started practicing the routine in my head. So I'm like, okay, I know I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna do this pose, I'm gonna go to this pose, I'm gonna go to this pose. And then the part of the speech, I'm like, I don't want any distractions. I want people to really listen to that speech and listen to what he said. So don't do any, just at that point, just get on your knees and just wait and let the speech play out and then carry on with the posing routine. So that's what basically I planned out in my head I was going to do it. So when we coming up to the Arnold Classic, when we kind of like did the pre-judging, we were like, wow, people were like, man, you've improved so much, and we're battling out with Nathan. It just felt like everything John said 8 weeks out from that point was coming true. He was like, wait till you see this guy. He's doing the Arnold Classic 8 weeks out. He's a beast. You're going to be impressed when you see him. He's going to shock the world. And I'm standing backstage at that point before going on to do the routine. And I'm thinking about that. I'm going, man, John, you hit it right on the head. This is what you said, what you predict is happening right now, right this very moment. And I went backstage and I just literally, my eyes are just like watering. And I'm thinking, I'm about to walk onto this routine. And that feeling, emotion was just overwhelming. And, the music came on. I walked out on stage to it. So when I walked out, I was already in tears. I was already breaking down, walking out to that routine and going through the poses and everything else. And it got to that point, and I just like, the whole emotion just came out. And, I was like, you know what? Don't hold it back. Don't try to bottle it in. Don't try to reserve yourself. Just show it as it is and let people understand what he truly meant to you. Don't show wear your heart on your sleeve and show it out. And so when we did the routine, that was it. At that point I just got on there and I just like, let it all pour out. All the way you have to bottle it and hold it on all this point for the 8 weeks to this point, just to be able to get to this point, let it all out. And we got on the stage and basically that's what we did, and that's what ended up happening.
Yeah, you could definitely feel that, brother. I don't think you needed to tell us. We saw that raw emotion, pal. So moving on to the next show, which is controversial.
It's probably one of my favorite stories ever.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
So the next show was controversial for different reasons.
Johnny, can I interrupt just quickly?
Yeah.
The second highlight of that show was yours and Nathan's repeated step one in front of each other. Step. Did anyone else see that?
Man, you know what's funny?
Most muscular was called, and by the end, they were hanging over the stage, getting the angles on each other. And Steve were barking.
You know what's funny about that moment, right? Because I already know, because I know Nathan he definitely pulls no punches on stage. He goes for it. So I'm like, okay, I know who I'm standing next to. I know what he's capable of. I know how dominant he is on stage. And if you stand next to Nathan and you're playing the whole, I'm just happy to be here, you know, lucky, nice guy, you're just going to get left behind for dust. He will blow you away without even second thought. So we kind of doing the first round, and I'm like, okay, so right from the first round, be aggressive. Do not let him outstep you. Be aggressive. So we go on there, and we obviously, they called all the poses. And for each pose, we were already stepping forward slightly anyway. So when we got to the last pose, I'm like, oh, no. Let's keep going. So we all just kept on seven. And we were 7 forward in each pose. And I'm thinking, any minute now, the judges will be like, okay, guys, back in line. But they weren't saying anything. I'm like, we keep going. I'm like, look, I can see the edge of the stage. I don't want to fall off here. And they were saying it. I'm like, come on, man, guys, are you going to say something? So we just kept on going and going, and they just left it off. I'm like, well, chill. You know, so that was definitely one of those funny moments where you just think, oh, fuck it, go with it, man.
What is your relationship with Nathan like then? Because obviously you're sponsored by Hostile together, so you have to do a lot of photo shoots and things. So,
dude, I will tell you this right now, man. What you see on stage, that is our real relationship. Okay, we are as competitive and as headbutting as you can possibly guess. You know, obviously guys come saying, "Oh yeah, we're friends. We're really cool. We're really nice and all that." But I ain't even gonna lie, because if I said that shit, I said we would be lying. Don't get me wrong. We are respectful. That's the whole thing. People tend to mistake competitiveness with hate. There's a big difference. There's a big amount of respect there, but we both know we want to win. We want to be aggressive. We want that battle. So when we're on stage, that is what we see. So off stage, you know, hey, that's as good as it gets. You know, even though we've done a photo shoot together, and there's a funny story behind that one, which I'll get into another day. But
no. We need to know about that one.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, okay. We also, I don't know if months ago when the little obviously photo shoot or video shoot, I posted a video of us training shoulders in Nathan's gym. So basically, we meant to obviously do a video training. That was what Hostile planned for us to meet up together. I think Nathan just coming off the Spain win, so we were gonna do that video shoot. So, it was interesting, put it that way. So, at the end of the day, basically, the clip you saw was basically as close as the clip of us training together as you're gonna see.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, we don't want to get you in trouble.
Nah, please don't, because I mean, don't get me wrong. We will obviously civil and everything else. We're all friendly and everything else, but I think when there's a rivalry there, it's very hard for you to hold hands and be like, oh, you know, I'll help you out. Yeah, we cool. Whatever. It's always like it's competitive. It's competitive. It's not getting away from it. It's competitive.
I think that's always going to be the case when you're so sort of close in terms of like stature and stuff like that. Like, and ultimately you're fighting over cash and prizes at the end of the day.
Exactly.
You know, it's quite often the people that aren't very competitive with each other. There's a big gap. There's a big gap. Whereas when you're fighting for 1 and 2, there's big prize money involved. You know, a lot of notifications.
Yep. So. And you know what? I love Nathan for that. And I truly gotta say, you guys gotta understand, I truly love him for that, because what he does, he causes me, especially through the prep where I knew that he was doing the show, it causes me to push just that bit harder, just that bit more aggressive, just that more harder, because you know who you're going up against. You know the person you're going up against, he's no slouch. He's one of the top Olympians. There is no free pass. There is no, might coming off, or he might not be 100%. There's none of that. So when you're training and you're dieting, you know what you're going up against. So your seriousness is back with you. So he really makes me to push myself to levels where I would have been like, okay, that will do. But I'll be like, nah, I know what I'm doing. I need to go a little bit harder, a little bit more heavier, a little bit more longer, a little bit more harder than it. So yeah, so I gotta say with Nathan, especially every time we stand on stage, these past 2 shows together, even being on stage, I'm learning from him. You know, I'm learning a lot from him, because he's kicking my ass, but I'm still looking at him going, okay, yeah, all right, I'm gonna get you somehow. I'm gonna get you someday.
Yeah, he reminds me of a modern day Arnie. Do you know when he was like on Pumping Iron, when he was backstage eating cakes and stuff, trying to get inside everyone's head?
Oh yeah,
he reminds me.
That is Nathan. You know, he'd be like, oh man, I'm eating burgers and chips before the show. and I'm, drinking this much vodka and chilling, and everybody thinks, yeah, he's taking it easy. You're thinking, no, he's not. Come on, don't be silly. You notice that he got tighter in Italy than he did in Arnold, didn't you? I'm like, there's a reason why he got tighter. His waist got tighter. Don't believe the whole, I just dieted for 4 weeks and I'm gonna ease through it. He's pushing just as hard, and I know for a fact he is because even on stage next to him, I know how hard he's pushing. So, yeah, come on now.
Love it. Okay, so next competition that you did, the Yamamoto Cup.
Italy, yeah.
Yeah, so that show was controversial for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to tell us your thoughts on it before we tell you ours?
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, we kind of came on the show and we're like, okay, we know who the two names will be that we have to battle against. It'll be Nathan and Rolly. Rolly hasn't had the best year, and, we saw it, especially when he does the Olympia the week before. So we kind of think, okay, two things are neither going to happen. He's neither going to tighten up very bad, really great between the Olympia and this show, or he won't be the same as he is at Olympia. So we kind of like had that in the back of our mind, thinking, okay, these are the guys that you need to make sure you be aware of. Him, even Andrea Presti, another guy that coming off the Olympia stage. So we're like, look, this is the guys that you're doing. So we basically made sure that between those two shows, we even tightened up even more just to stand next to them. So obviously the show happened and we kind of saw each other backstage. Like when we do bodybuilding shows, you see each other backstage, you know who's on and who isn't and everything else. So we kind of saw each other backstage and we go, okay, I can see what I see, basically. I can see what everybody else is seeing. So I'll put it out like that. So we come on stage and taking the fact, this is Rolly Winkler you're talking about. You're not talking about no idea, but he's Rolly you're talking about. So he's like, God damn, okay, I'm standing next to freaking Rolly on stage. Holy crap, what the hell? This is moments, right? So we went to the first round and they had me and Nathan in the middle and we're battling it out. I'm like, okay, hell, this is the show. Let's do it. And then I think the ending of the first call out or second call out, they moved me out to the side and put Rolly in. And I kind of thought like, I thought I was giving Nathan a battle here. Well, I mean, obviously I'm seeing something I'm not seeing or anything like that. So we came up the pre-judging and, people obviously already people are talking and they already kind of giving me the, it's cool. We know what's going on. Don't worry about it. It's cool feeling. And at the time, you just focus on you. There's nothing more you can do because you can't do anything more than just, okay, what do I have to do to come back and fight my way back to the top? What do I got to do to be better? We carved up even more. We came back full out of pre-judging even tighter. And, and that's what happens, it's a show. It's a bodybuilding show. It's not the first time it's happened. It won't be the last, sadly. And you just say, okay, fair enough. That's what it is. Move on to the next one.
I was expecting a politician's answer from you, pal, to be honest.
What else can I say? We saw what we saw, so I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. It's not the first time. It won't be the last time.
We can say it and not get in trouble. Rolly didn't even deserve to be in that top 5.
So the best was when he was repetitively swiping off all the sweat. He was dripping, absolutely dripping.
Because the thing is, especially in the final call out, I know at one point the judges had to stop us from posing and wait so he catches his breath. So I was saying that, so thinking about, well, surely, when we did the Arnold the week before or 2 weeks before, I basically got smacked a few points because I started sweating. So I'm thinking, surely that must mean I'm getting in there now. Surely, no, maybe, sorry, please, but
It's not a good look when Steve Weinberger has to say, "Are you okay, Rolly?" over the microphone.
I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, the thing is, we know that bodybuilding, it's an interesting game.
Indeed. Well, it's earning your dues and all that good stuff. And like I said during the message when I asked you to come back on, it's only so long they're can keep denying you. If you're relentless, which you have been. So moving nicely on to the next competition, what is it, and where do you see yourself placing?
So we got Egypt coming up next weekend. So we're flying out on Friday to do the KO Pro in Egypt. And honestly, like I said, we know that obviously with every show we're climbing up in a point system, which is a bonus. But I want to win a show and secure that place early this year. So I know that then gives me a whole year to really focus on another off season, improve even more. Because now that we've figured out how to make my body grow just right and how to bring me down for the shows, it feels like, oh man, we finally found a formula that works. So I'm just excited to want to go back to that. So I want to really qualify early and then say, okay, now prepare for the Olympia next year. So we got Egypt, and obviously I think it's me and Nathan going at it again. And I keep thinking, man, please, someone do me a favor. Just pop his tie or make him miss a flight or something. Just give us a little bit of a break or something. But, it is what it is. But we're going up at it again. And hopefully, I can get by him. If not, we're going to keep going until we do. Because the way I said it, John said, look, he wants me on that 2022 Olympia stage. And I said, you know what, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. So if this show doesn't give it to me, the next one will. The next one doesn't give me, the next one after that will. I will keep going until I finally secure that place in one way or the other. I want to be on that 2022 Olympia stage. And honestly, I've been through so much shit and punishment in my life that I'm thinking this is easy. I will endure whatever it takes to make sure that I achieve that.
I'm going to clip that. And I'm gonna clip it so when it says, I'm going to pip Nathan, this is easy.
We might have one for an episode then.
Shows is easy, not freaking Nathan. Nathan's hard.
No, I know. I'm gonna twist your words because I won't really. I only do that to Dan.
Yeah, that's true. I was just gonna save the speech and put it on my phone and listen to it before every training session.
Think about it, guys, man. Think about it. We all dream about being in this position when we were coming up as amateurs. We all dream about what we like if you're a pro bodybuilder traveling around the world, competing, earning money, earning points, trying to fight in Olympia. So when you finally get there, do you look at it and go, well, I'm here now. I'm a big shot. I don't need to. No, your mindset is still just like that as an amateur. You're still thinking, man, how lucky am I to be here? How lucky am I to be able to do this? So if that means that you got to grind your ass off to get to that final stop, you're trying to tell me nobody else in my boat wouldn't do the exact same thing I'm doing now?
I think that's just your mindset there, Samson. I think quite a few people do let it go. So it's credit to you that you've still got that mindset. So.
Thanks, man, bro. That's the way I look at it. I keep thinking, because even when I feel tired, because honestly, even my missus, she's like, man, I don't know how you're going to keep going. But she goes, we looked at it and go, look, we know full well where we've come from. There's no way we're going to let this opportunity pass us by. We're already in shape. We just have to persevere. Mentally, it's challenging, but we know we've been through worse. So persevere, show after show. Eventually, they have to give you one. Eventually, they have to. And if they don't, you just keep getting points until no one can ever top you in the points system. But eventually, they have to give you something. So just keep showing up and keep coming there at your best each time. And do as long as your body doesn't shut down, your mind you can control. As long as your body's willing, I'm gonna make it all the way there.
It's not as if you're flogging a dead horse, is it? You are so close.
Exactly.
So, like if you were, outside the top 5, it'd probably be a different conversation. But on a side note, I want you to one day win the Mr. Olympia because I was on stage with you in your first ever show. Wow. And I can tell my kids, by the way, I competed with Mr.
Olympia. Oh, that would be an awesome story to tell, right? Seriously.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right on your coattails.
Seriously, honestly, that would be a dream come true, seriously. And the way I see it, I'm like, I'm gonna work my ass off from now to the moment I can't anymore just to make something like that come through, And the thing is, it's not, I know people say it's work and it's hard, but I enjoy this. You enjoy training, you enjoy the diet, you enjoy this lifestyle. So as I said before, I was working construction job, 9 to 5, just getting on with life. Hopefully one day things will be different. But now you finally be given the opportunity to make things different, to have that time. So how can you not be grateful? How can you not take full advantage of it? So, I've considered myself extremely, extremely lucky, so I got to make sure that I make that count for everything it's worth.
Well, it's a different conversation because the last time you were on the podcast, you were still working. And you were telling us about how you were having to still work and that you didn't, you did what you were going to do, whatever it took. But it is refreshing because we all had, the conversation after that podcast and all agreed that you with a full-time bodybuilding would be a dangerous prospect. So that's come into fruition now, which is really nice to see.
and it feels really good, and it feels really good to finally be on a level playing field with some of these guys that already had the opportunity. Because even when we started prepping, we started dieting, when you know that you got to go to work in the morning and do that, there's only so far you can cut your food and push down, because you can't go to work and tell your boss, oh look, I'm really tired today because I'm dieting for a show. They're gonna look at you and laugh at you and say, yeah, you can get your shit and leave, So even those times when we diet, we knew that there was days where I still have to keep my food carbs slightly high because I have to work a full-time job. I couldn't really risk, not being able to move. But now where you know that, okay, my ass is sitting at home. So, hey, take all my carbs away. I'm still sitting at home. So I don't need it right now. So I can endure suffering when you don't have to, work full-time and, do all this construction work. So I think this year it sort of spoke a lot to that. When your mind is truly just focused on one task alone, you feel like you can give your full energy into it.
Yeah.
Well, also, not having a job, surely you can eliminate more variables and make the changes mean something a bit more. Because if you're doing site work and stuff, you could be burning double the calories just because you've been put on a different job or whatever. It's very hard to try to counteract and track that.
Exactly. And, there's some days where I remember we would plan it on a low carb day and we'd think, okay, fine, that will do, whatever. And then that day will be a very extremely hectic day at work. And I'm burning way much of the kind. And then some days where you're supposed to be on a high carb day, I try to make them carbs count. But same thing, you're burning off through so much food that you're supposed to be filling out. But good luck, there's no chance of that ever happening. And you're constantly manipulating your diet just to account for a variable that you can't even estimate or know what's going to happen. And it really does sort of just keep you upon where you're basically just playing the cards as you get it. You can't plan too far ahead with that kind of thing. But now where you know exactly what your day is going to be like, you know exactly where you're going to be, you know exactly where your next meal is going to come from. It's not this case where you miss a meal by 2 hours and try to play catch up, just because you're too busy working, So now it's like, okay, you're in fully control of what you do.
That's the only reason I didn't go pro, to be honest. I can't even keep a straight face. So, questions, guys. Do you want me? I'll open the floor up for you guys first. If anybody's got questions, and then I'll go to the post on Instagram.
And my question was kind of around John Meadows, and if there was any kind of light bulb moments. You told about changing the methodology around training and stuff. Obviously you knew that he was someone that you would get on with and gel with, but what were the bits that really when you first met made you were clicked into place and you were like, fuck, this is the thing? It was with training specifically first, maybe.
Training, well, first it was basically, obviously he said he wanted to improve my back. So immediately he said, okay, you know what, let's get you training your back twice a week. First at the beginning of the week, twice, and then second at the end of the week. And we try to improve your recovery time, because this is where it really counts. It's not just how hard you can train, but it's how fast you can recover. And what we tend to notice is where I could train hard in the first part of the week, towards the end of the week, I wasn't recovering quick enough to then go as hard again. So he manipulated my diet to sort of give me that aspect for me to recover. And obviously the chems and everything else, he manipulated that. So the recovery time is what we focused on, trying to improve how fast I can recover from one training to another. And especially when it came to a muscle group like the back, where it was such a big muscle group that we really wanted, because they said, it's nothing worse than, you look good from the front and you turn to the back and they're like, oh, if only. So we really want to eliminate that once and for all. So we put a lot of focus on, obviously, his training of the middle row and different sort of style. One day, extremely heavy lifting from deadlift, rack pulls and everything else. So the other day where you work on more detailed stuff like, the cables and stuff like that to kind of really get that refined details. So he really played in both aspects of it, starting the week off very heavy. And then towards the end of the week, we sort of although we bring the intensive training down, we still hit it just hard, just to make sure as long as I can recover in between those two. So he really played that into it. And then when we further on we went, he finally then reduced it back into just training 1 day a week. But then that training was such a big, impactful training that we just started improving quite well, really.
And was there any diet, because you were saying he was making small, changes for maximum results?
Yeah. So basically, before where, with me, because I got really extremely fast metabolism, we basically what we used to do before, we would eat 90% of our food might be clean, and then we'll throw in a bit of junk to try to make up the calorie difference. But with him, he basically made all my food clean, but he increased the amount so much. I mean, we were still on like 7,500 calories a day, but he played on that idea of, okay, although, yeah, you can have a little bit of junk here in the weekends and stuff like that, but majority of food through the week has to be food that you're basically processing and you're using. You know, you don't just want something that goes through your system, gives you that artificial fullness and the idea of eating a lot, but it doesn't, in terms of like macros stuff, it doesn't really do anything for you. So we obviously kind of use different carb sources from sweet potato, pasta, rice, you know, everything to bring it up. Same thing with, you know, using salmon, chicken, steak, and different styles of that played off in that. And then he threw in a lot of fruit as well, which I was kind of like, man, fruit. I'm eating all these calories. What the hell is an apple gonna do? You know, but he threw in all those things. And what we just found out is I could process through the meals so quick that we were able to get more meals in through the day. You know, I could have breakfast and then 2 hours later I'm ready to eat again. And we're like, okay, have another of this. So it was basically the food, even though the calorie wasn't as high as what it was in the past, but because of everything that I was basically metabolizing it and using it to actually improve.
How many meals were you eating?
I got to the point where we were having 7 meals a day.
I bet, and they weren't small.
They weren't small meals. Obviously, they definitely weren't small. But the thing is, it felt comfortable because at first it always starts off with oh my God, this is so much food. I don't know if I can. But like few months into it, I was like, yeah, I could. This is not even like, it wasn't even a hassle to eat it anymore. It just felt like that's your normal body, your body's normal rate of eating those kind of meals. So it felt comfortable. It just felt like, yeah, okay, another meal going in, no big deal, you know. And he still kept the shakes post meal as well, you know, the 3 shakes a day post meal. So that just really pushed your calories above.
So you just adapted quickly, and then that became your kind of myostasis.
Yeah, yeah, and that's really true because I said when we got up to about 314 pounds in off season, and I felt comfortable at that weight. I mean, we were going on walks, we were going on everything. It didn't feel like before when you hit the weight, you feel like there's a lot of water and you get lower back pains and just you can't do anything. You know, you're groaning every time you try to tie your shoelaces and stuff like that. We didn't get none of that this time. You know, it felt really comfortable. And I remember telling my missus halfway through, I'm going, this is the most comfortable I've ever been at this weight. It doesn't even feel like I'm carrying that. If I didn't check the scales, I would have thought now I was somewhere around that 280. I feel like you didn't feel at all anywhere uncomfortable, you know. So I was thinking, man, this is something special. I don't know what it is, but it's working.
And then from that, obviously, like feeling comfort at that level of body weight, your performance in the gym was still there.
It was great. It was absolutely great. You know, your fitness was still there. Your amount of weight you did, your recovery time, which each set was absolutely amazing. You know, you were never puffing out. You were never at the point where you're thinking, oh, I can't breathe. I just need a minute. Everything felt really well, and you just felt your body gelled really well with it. And because this is the thing, because in the past I could tolerate tolerate loads of junk and stuff like that. It didn't mean they were helping me. It just meant that okay, your body can go through it quickly. It doesn't give you don't have gas, you don't have bloated stomach, and it doesn't give you that. But it doesn't mean that the calories, those junk calories, they were actually helping you progress. So now bringing and focusing more all on just clean food. I mean, don't get me wrong, we still had a pizza on the weekend and stuff like that, but majority of the week where your food was all clean, it just felt like the calories you put it in, your body genuinely uses it to build muscle. It uses to power through. So it really kind of taught us a lesson where we're thinking, actually, wow, this is seriously, this is the difference between what one food can do, just having high calories, and what another one can do, you know, to your actual body.
Yeah, this if it fits your macros, bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what, because you know, you start to believe that it's you gotta eat 5,000 calories a day, and you eat your burger, you know, a burger of 1,000 calories. Go, yeah, there you go, I'm getting it. Thinking, no. Try doing that with rice and chicken and see how much you can stick with it. You know?
But Jay Cutler used to have 2 double cheeseburgers every night.
Yeah, I wish I could. I mean, it's just what it is.
Did you see how uncomfortable he looked though when he was doing that? There's that one photo where he's like slumped over like about 3 in there, and he's like his face is like
plus there's 4 out of 5 of us on this podcast don't have his genetics.
Yeah.
So questions, Geraint, Jack, anything for you lads?
Yeah, so Samson, in terms of your technique with like your poses and stuff, like it's absolutely flawless. Where does it come from? Is it something you practice through bodybuilding, or is it come up from previous?
So like what I used to do basically, because when I first started bodybuilding, I mean Johnny could tested this when I did my first show. I basically did not know anything about bodybuilding. I didn't know anything at all, posing, nothing. So what we had to do, basically, I just thought, okay, YouTube. So I basically went back through time and started watching the oldest bodybuilding shows I can get, and then start watching everything coming down. And then I noticed, obviously, you pick up, just like everybody else, you pick up physique that's similar to yours, okay? So I started watching, obviously, the Sean Rays, the Kevin LeBrons, the Chris Cormiers, all those guys, and the Cleaver brothers and stuff like that. I started watching them, and I was just so captivated. I mean, you see Flex Wheeler pose, you can't take your eyes off him.
Yeah.
You're just like, wow, you're just so captivated by it. So I just basically watch them guys over and over and over. And it's like doing cardio, I'm constantly watching them. I mean, every single routine they've done on YouTube, I probably watch them more than anybody else. I mean, just constantly watching them. And it wasn't with the idea of, okay, I want to do this pose. I want to copy this pose. I just watch them constantly. And subconsciously, when it came down for me to put a routine together, those poses somewhere in my head just pops out. And like, oh, actually, that would do well. This pose will go well. Or this form of side chest will go well. So when I do posing routine, people always say you can always pick little tips from those guys, little poses from those guys where I do, because I learn from them, And then where the art of obviously just, because I always say with posing for me is the music, it has to be like a music video. If you're watching a music video, you saw someone dancing to it, it has to match the music you're watching. You can't, if you're watching something slow, you can't see a guy breakdancing. It just doesn't go together. If you're watching breakdancing video, you can't be having a slow or a freaking classic song playing in the background. It just doesn't work that way. So for me, I always feel like those two has to click. So when someone never heard a music song that song in their life, and they watch you post that, automatically their brain, every time they hear that song, should be, oh yeah, I remember watching this guy post to it. So you have to sort of fill that gap. So every time we kind of think about, okay, we want to do a routine, first thing first I do, and I always give this tip to everybody, the song you pick is where you start off from. So you say, okay, what kind of routine do I want to do? Do I want to do something slow, fast, entertaining, classical? Then you pick a song to match that. And then you then find poses, neither from watching all the guys have done it before. You then find poses that that you like hitting, and then just make it match that song. So you find slow pose, you find that, and then you just make it match that song. And this is how you kind of put a routine together. It's that simple. First, you start with the music. If you want something slow, you pick up a slow song, you watch guys that pose slowly, you pick up the poses they do, and you just make it mix together. So when we come up with them routines, once you do it long enough and over enough, like I say now, I freestyle posing all the time when I'm in the gym. I'll be sitting there, I'll be on my headphones, and a song will come on, I'll be like, actually, and I'll just start posing with it, freestyle, just like that. And it gets to the point where you become like that. So some of the routines I do on stage, like in Italy, that was just freestyle. I didn't practice that routine. I just literally go, okay, I know what's on it. Okay, cool, I know what I'm gonna do. So we get on stage, and I'm like, yep, you got the freaking Forgot About Dre music play, and I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm gonna hit to this. And you just freestyle it up with it, So you then start to have fun with it when you start doing that over and over again.
I'm confused because Dan's not writing notes.
I'm gonna fuck it. I'm just gonna come and go and see Samson. I'm gonna skip it all and just turn up. Yeah. Please teach me.
Dan just does a dubstep tune and a ton of most musculars, and then leaves.
Yeah, pretty much. Do a little wave at the end. Do a little thanks.
Yeah, you taught Joe Ball a bit of his routine and stuff, and it just opened up his physique a bit more. When he was for what show was that? It was I can't remember what show it was that he
did a
competed in. But it was just the routine, and it just opened up his full physique due to teaching them sort of just a simple touches,
Yeah, and that's what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, we work so hard and everything else, and especially now where there's so many guys not putting a lot of effort into their posing. When you watch a show and one guy does, you tend to remember them. Just because, not because the routines are being scored, not because of anything else, because we just attracted to something we like, and seeing someone put an effort, not just in the physique part of it, but over every other aspect of it, you just tend to be like, wow, okay, I'll watch him because he put an effort in it. And now where you're getting guys people kind of just like, well, they don't get scored, so I don't care. You don't have to do, the thing is, you don't have to do like an amazing routine. You don't have to do something that blows everybody away. All you have to do is just put a little bit of effort in it instead of kind of like walking up a stage and asking people to clap for you. I mean, that's stupid. Like, seriously, you want me to clap when you haven't done anything? You standing there like, clap for me? Like, he's like, really? You gotta walk around and hit most musculars and expect us to clap because you hit most musculars? Like, dude, I'm paying you to entertain me. What are you doing? Like, I'm not gonna clap unless I'm entertained. So when you think about it like that, you start thinking, actually, I should, do something at least.
Dan will have the Gladiator song next time. So, are you not entertained?
I absolutely love that track, and there's so many times I've really kind of want to use that track, Well, that's awesome.
Or just do the Jay Cutler stomp.
If
you got the leg, if you got the leg.
Stop your feet, I'm not flipping.
Smash through the floor.
Or fall off a stage like Michael Hearn.
Oh,
wow.
That was a finisher.
We love him.
You love him.
Yeah.
We don't love
It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, our second favourite Natty.
Jack's the first.
We don't believe either of them that they're natty. Jack, questions, pal?
I had one, and it's a bit more of a generic question. It was relating to, obviously, we've had a few deaths from competitive bodybuilders recently, and it was a question relating to whether you think they should be changing the criteria of bodybuilding. And I don't like asking the question because it seems so stupid, really. Like, they're not going to change the criteria.
And this is it, at the end of the day, like things that we're all grown men, man. We all know the sport we picked. Yeah. We know what our body can tolerate and what we can't. I mean, I'm hoping that if we've got to that level where, I think you should know a little bit about it. And full well, like, look, we've all had coaches before, and I'm one of them. They tell me, oh, take this much to get dry. And I'm like, yeah, right. He's like, nah, I'm not gonna, I know what this does. No, So it's the athletes, we have to take responsibility in that sense, because we can't expect the people to sport that say, okay, from this point on, we all want you to come in softer because we're afraid that you might do something stupid. I mean, it doesn't, it's like Formula One telling guys, drivers, oh, I want you to not drive so much faster because you might crash.
But where's the limit then? Where's the limit then of them potentially saying, we don't want to get you too big?
Yeah, we
don't use it.
Okay, well, how do you judge, like, like, get dry but not too dry, get big but not too big? So it doesn't make any sense. But I was thinking, like, athletes, we really need to know that if you listen to somebody that says, okay, this is what we're going to do, this is your plan for you to come in shape, or this is your plan of what we want you to do, please have the common sense to ask questions. Okay, is this safe? How far am I willing to push? How risky is this? And just like, look, just say no. Just say, no, I'm sorry, but no, I don't feel safe with that, because I know full well there's been times where full well, okay, you want to get dry enough for a show, but the risk at that, and you're thinking, is it really worth the reward you're going to get if you do, compared to if you didn't? And sometimes you really need to know that it is, everybody say, oh, do whatever it takes, but whatever it takes can cost you a lot more than you think.
So I think there's a couple of aspects to it, though. So first one being is these days people are not in condition, so they're using way too many diuretics to compensate and not actually being in condition in the first place.
Yep.
Second one being is that back in the 90s when they were all dialed right in, they were doing this shit back then, but now there's so many more people doing bodybuilding, even if it's a 1% chance of it happening. If
you notice it.
Many people doing it now.
Yep.
And also, once it's a thing, we were living in a corporate media age for bodybuilding through Generation 9. They realized, something, they got like however many clicks, they have the analysis for this, and then it was like some guy called Sean, no one's ever heard of, he died, he's a bodybuilder, but he was actually just in the audience, he wasn't actually doing a show, and it's just the structure of this media stuff. The same thing about fucking calling things terrorist attacks. It's just another media frenzy in a different, so it's just people like that. Why was this news? That's what got me. I had loads of bodybuilders on Instagram going, oh my God, this is really dangerous, this thing. How did you not know it was happening?
Yep. And this is it, it's like, it's really that surprising that, look, every sport on this planet, no matter what it is, it's dangerous. There's always risk. It's not, especially at this level, there's always risk. There's nothing, no sport you can pick up that you'd be like, well, this is risk-free. There's always risk. And guys are pushing for the limits of what a human body can go. So you really think there ain't going to be risk for that? And the fact is, for the amount of bodybuilders that we have doing this, the people we lost, these are still small numbers compared to what it could be. It could be a lot worse, you know. So I just think, like, you know,
you're a lot more likely to die in a road accident than this.
But you know,
obviously, there's
but
doing
if your
stupid shit.
If your body died in a road accident, you know what they will say that, right? You don't die from a car accident. You die from.
It was the diuretics.
It doesn't matter what kills you. It's like, yeah, we know what did it. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't the car. It wasn't any of that. It was.
It was the diuretic. What was it that didn't Arnie say? Yeah, they should ban diuretics. And I was like, I'm pretty sure all of the drugs are banned officially. I think. I think that it's supposed to be banned because what was it when they hate people in the IFBB? Like, was it Lee Priest? They didn't. Let's drug test him because it's banned. They were like, oh, surprise, surprise, he failed.
It's amazing how much ignorance there is still in the world when there's so much information available.
It's made it worse.
Some of it's shit, but like if you haven't got the common sense to fish out the good stuff, the good information, then it's natural selection in my mind.
I do. I think that like people think that getting a coach is absolving you from your own common sense, and you should. The only person who cares the most about you, whether it's a coach, they might care. Like even if it's just not, even if it's not about money, no one cares about you more than fucking you. And if that means you have to go and do a bit of research, pay some money, do a course or something, whatever it needs to do to know what you're doing, take fucking control of your shit. It's your corner, man.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Like, you know, you gotta really think about that seriously because guys now, you know, like they think the idea of paying a coach means that I'm absolved from anything that goes wrong. You think, hello, it's your body. Like seriously, it's your body. You know, like I don't understand how you can think that if coach said you take all this and you just say okay and you throw it all in there. You don't ask questions like, oh, hold on, what is this? What is that? What does it do? What does it? I mean, this is the whole idea. It's not just the idea of a coach isn't just get me ready for a show. It's teach me how my body works and how can I make it better. His idea of is learning from somebody. It's not just he takes control and I just follow him like a donkey and whatever he said jump, I just jump. I mean, you're supposed to be learning. That's the biggest thing of bodybuilding. It's about learning, about bettering yourself. So I do find it quite weird when guys say, oh, my coach told me to do this, so I just did it, and then I wound up in hospital. I'm like, why did you do it? Oh, he told me to. Like, if he told you to run off a bridge, would you have done the same thing? Like, seriously, you didn't ask? But yeah, I mean, wow.
Well, that leads me nicely into the next topic, which I don't know whether you want to discuss or not, but drugs that people think are insanely dangerous, which can be, but can also be safe, such as insulin, which your coach is synonymous with.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Is that something that's been incorporated now? Is it going to be more in the off-season?
It is being incorporated now in the prep. And you know what? Just like I said before, I've always, like, even from the get-go, I always knew that he was like with it anyway. And I educated myself enough beforehand anyway. I already knew exactly how it worked and whatever. But we know that when it comes to he's a genius at it. So I remember having literally an hour-long conversation of him teaching me, okay, how does it actually work? How does your this is how you said you want to use it this way, like, pre or post work and stuff like. What is the idea behind it? How does it work? And I remember him breaking it down for me for an hour, explaining to me, okay, this is how it works, this is how the body works, this is how he takes it on, this is how you shuttle doing training and everything else. And, breaking it down for me. And then even then, I still felt like, okay, how do we start this safely to see how much I can tolerate, And I remember we literally started from literally basic ground down, okay, try this first for this training session. Let me know I do. And mind you, anytime I go training, I got my missus with me. She's standing there like a first aid medic, standing there just in case, the whole time, like, if I fall on the ground, she'd be like, don't worry, nobody panic, I got this. So we know, like I said, we know the risk. So we are prepared for when it does happen. We know that this is what it does. So with him, same thing, he tells me, okay, yeah, try this. How did you get on? And I come back with feedback and say, okay, you know what, that felt really harsh. You felt too wrong. Yeah, that worked better. And we basically learn of each other. And he's learning my body and learning how much I can take and how much I can tolerate. Same time, I'm learning from him to say, okay, this is how it really works. And this is why I say, like, with things like that, this is what you're supposed to have a coach for, is to learn from them. It's not just for them to tell you and then you go off like a moron and just do whatever they say. It's to learn from them. And even when you know, crazy times where it gives you a crazy ass idea, I still kind of walk back and go, yeah, I'm gonna break that in half just to be safe, you know, because I just don't know just yet. Let me try half first. So this is it. I don't understand like how nobody else, like, it's common sense, isn't it? If you're not comfortable with something,
yeah,
get information about it as much as you can, and then play it safe.
Yeah.
Because this is how we progress. You can't just jump in guns blazing thinking everything is going to be okay, especially in today's world. You just don't. It's silly. The bodybuilding is risky enough as it is.
Yeah.
All you got to do is play as safe as you can. And you know, I'm glad with Milos because he's so open-minded to the idea of talking to his athletes. He's so open-minded of explaining things to you and telling you, okay, if you're not comfortable with that, let's try it this way instead. You know. And he's so open-minded to that honestly, as a coach, I couldn't rate him high enough because this is one thing if your coach tells you to do something, you ask him why, what's the purpose of it, and he can't explain that to you, then I'm sorry, but he's not a coach, you know. So to have somebody that literally explain to you and then show you exactly that, and then you come out the other end going, wow, I see exactly what you mean. Oh, wow, okay. Tell me the next part. And this is what the relationship we had all through the prep. You know, this is what it's been like. I was astounded. Like, literally, I was shocked about how well his process worked on me. Because he told me, obviously, he was working with guys in the 90s and everything else during that period. I had this certain style of physique I had. And he goes, look, I know exactly how to get you to look freakish, dry and round and everything else with it. Just trust me and let's do it. And I listened to him and, you know, I was like, wow, okay. You know, we could be flat and still look full as anything. And I'm thinking, I can't feel anything. I feel like flat this morning. And he goes, yeah, but you don't look at it on camera. I'm thinking, yeah, true, but I feel like crap. You know, I've been eating for days. But it really does kind of educate you a lot way, and you do learn a lot from it.
We should probably put a disclaimer. Anyone who wants to use insulin, I definitely, number one, would never recommend start using it during a prep phase because
no.
It's a knife edge. But also, you know, you need to do your homework on it. But you need to be, unless you've got somebody on hand with experience like Milos, you're probably going to need to try it in the off seasons so you can be in excess with your carbohydrates and not the risk of going straight into a hypo.
And since my fear when he recommended it halfway in, literally 4 weeks out or whatever, I'm thinking, dude, seriously, like, do you realize like I'm on very low carbs? But you know, this is what I mean. Like, you really do need somebody around you, even when you are trying it. You really do need somebody around you to know exactly what's going on and have something at hand to help you out. You know, the glucose tablets and all that stuff to have in hand, just in case, you know, it doesn't go the way you think it's going to go, because it will happen.
Yeah. There's loads of other factors that play into it that can throw you off as well. And so, yeah, obviously, Bash Pros does not condone the use of any drugs. Please consult your physician.
I'm putting that. I'm snipping that out.
Do you have a monitor? Do you use a glucose monitor?
Yes, I do have a monitor actually, and that's one we do use. But the thing is, as you said, it might measure up one way, but based on your activity for that day, you will throw it completely off. Yeah. And this is one thing where you have to, I don't know, experience is the wrong word, but you have to be able to tell when, I mean, anybody who's ever been in that situation, like had it happen before, you could tell a mile when it's about to happen. You know the feeling. You're like, oh shit, I know what's going on. Okay, stop piling in the food and piling in everything else. You can sort of tell it's coming, you know. So, you know, there's days where you think you measure all your calories right, you measure everything right, and you're thinking, yeah, I got it covered. And then little things will throw it out of whack.
Because you can have hypos on prep, like
I have hypos on normal situation, on normal day.
Yeah, I've not I don't use insulin on prep, but I'll ride out a couple but I can feel when they're a bit too hefty, and I usually find about sort of 10 to 15 grams because you feel like you could eat the world.
Oh man!
Go on, he's lining something up. What's he going to line up?
I had the worst one ever, right? The British Grand Prix 2019, which is the one Samson did.
Yeah.
I pushed down to the heavyweights, right? So Mark Robinson was pushed things really hard. One day I was just sat there from nowhere. My entire clothes were soaking. It was dripping off my...
Oh.
And I was like, fuck, didn't know what to do. So I went and sat in the bath, right? Couldn't get hold of Mark because I didn't know what to do and I didn't want to break the diet. So I'm sat there fucking quivering, right? I change my clothes, have a shower, get back out, happens again, straight away.
Oh.
Grabs the blood glucose monitor. About an hour later, it was at like 1.2. It was like, you literally could be dead right now. I was like, oh, fuck.
Oh no, you definitely. I think no matter how we look at, we definitely don't push it that far, man. We definitely gotta be a lot more. Like I know, obviously, my coach already has a reputation of being crazy, a little bit, crazy with it. But I always tell guys, you know what, you got common sense as well. And I always talk to him, and I always say, this is great, but is it possible just to like down it a bit? And he's like, okay, good, play safe, So he's been absolutely. I want to say I can't really know. He's been great, especially like carving up for the show and stuff like that. He's words can't explain how comfortable he feels to have somebody that is looking over your shoulder and actually monitoring you that well going to a show, and telling you, look, okay, this is the next step, this is the next part, this is what you do, and breaking it down. You just feel like the stress and the whole anxiety of, okay, this whole idea of peak week and trying to get a perfect balance of everything right, it just gets taken off your shoulders, and you trust in the people around you. And like anybody who knows, before, my missus used to prep me before. So having her knowledge that she's already had with me and his, and then John's all added together, man, it was like, wow, this is what it's like means to have a team that truly knows your body and cares, right there in your corner. And you feel unstoppable. Even when your mind is playing up with you and you acting like an asshole, you really do tend to say, look, you forget the people you have around you. These people they've been around you for a long time. They know you, So you really do tend to trust them so much.
There you are. Are we in the 5 top tips zone?
I think so. There was a couple of other questions, but I think
actually we've had tips off Samson before, so we could probably just do the questions.
Yeah, there was. What's your favourite look so far on stage?
Oh man, I love the Arnold look. I definitely love the Arnold look so far. Italy was harder. So, but the thing is with Italy, because obviously you're on stage and you don't get to see it, you don't know. Because I know the Arnold, there was loads of images, there was loads of pictures and stuff like that. So I could look at it and go, yes, that's the look I wanted to bring. But Italy were harder, but then the videos and pictures were all dark and you never really got to pure view of it. But I know we're definitely harder in Italy. But so far, I got to say the Arnold look was definitely a look I love the most.
I'd have to agree.
Yeah, definitely. It was a nice combination of looking huge and being shredded.
Yeah.
I think largely all the other 4 questions have been pretty much covered by what you've talked about already, Samson. And I know it's 5 to 9. You're probably do another meal, and based on the conversations we just had, I don't think we want to push those meals any further out.
That's cool. That's fine.
Can I just ask one question?
Yes, of course.
How's the dog?
Oh man, he's here. He's a handful.
He's looking.
He's more than a handful.
He's looking stacked.
Come here.
Oh, there he is. Papa boy. Yeah, they said they calm down at 2, so I'm just waiting for that.
Oh, I'm waiting patiently for that. Believe me, I'm waiting patiently for him to calm down. Well, I mean, honestly, he is lovely. He's definitely lovely. I mean, we love that show. He's so intelligent and so smart, but they definitely take some work. That's for sure.
It's one of the hardest things I've had is a Corso. One of the hardest things I've done is having a Corso because they play you like a fucking. They're trying it on all the time.
All the time. There's never. They literally is no. It's like literally having a freaking over anxious kid with you that they take the liberties. The minute you literally slip off, they'll be like, I'm gonna take the piss now.
Yeah. Who's the what? Is your missus softer?
Oh, of course, she's a lot softer than I am. Man.
Yeah, see, because Ellis is soft with Abe, so I have to be more of an asshole. Because otherwise, he thinks he's the daddy.
Oh yeah, and he would literally take piss out of you. The minute you be soft for a few days, all of a sudden they're like, yeah, and they start pushing their boundaries and everything else with it.
Yeah, man. We'll have to get a play date soon.
Oh, 100%. He would
when
love that.
When you've got that invite, then we'll sort it out.
Can you imagine the looks you'd get? You pair with 2 King Corsos.
Oh, man.
Imagine.
You want to walk in that park.
Now walking down the street, you know, I got like this little alleyway behind my house where I walk down in the morning with him. And every single time, especially early in the morning, when someone's walking the other way, whether they're waiting to walk and they see us coming, they literally turn around and walk back.
Mate, they would.
The only saving grace that I have in that situation is I've got the Frenchie as well. So they're like, he must be okay. Because he's not murdered the Frenchie, so he must be okay. But that's where they're fucking wrong. That's where, because the Frenchie will fuck you up. The Corso's fine, but the Frenchie is going to have it. Oh, man. Well, that was amazing.
Thanks.
Very inspirational. Thank you so much for coming again, man. It was
thank you. I love being on here, man. Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
And when you get that Olympia invite.
Oh, yeah.
When? It's a when.
Thank you very much. Definitely.
It's a when.
We'll hopefully be out there watching you as well.
Oh, that would be absolutely amazing.
Well, my honeymoon is supposed to be coming and watch the Olympia. So.
Oh, really? Oh, right. So we're all in Olympia next year in December.
So
then.
we're gonna be there.
Oh yes, definitely. This is going to be the British takeover. Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that means at least there's one less person to pay for from the podcast. Me, Jack, and Geraint.
No, you have to pay for the whole honeymoon.
Right.
Oh, man.
I'll leave you to it, Samson. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate you taking your time, bud.
Yeah, wicked, man. Big love, man.
Thanks so much for having me on. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Take it easy, mate.
Take care,
Take
man.
it easy, guys.
Good, mate.